Hey, what's up, guys? John here. So, if California could not get any crazier, they are now trying to push the eviction moratorium out another year. So, that's basically 2 years with no protections for landlords. Well, very minimal, the bare minimum. And it's all structured in an unethical way by Gavin Newsom. And I'm going to explain why in this video, as well as I'm going to read the article to you because I honestly wouldn't believe it if I were you either, because it simply sounds like we're living in the twilight zone. Gavin Newsom signed a bill into law in California about a month and a half ago that essentially gives them first right of refusal, them as in California, first right of refusal on all foreclosures. They say they want to prevent another 2008 where corporations run out and buy all the foreclosures. Well, so how does he do that? He simply says no. And the only people that can do that are tenants, which is very unlikely because tenants won't have 2 year stable income due to his draconian lockdown orders. They won't have, many of them will not have the cash reserves or the credit to qualify for financing in a depressed market because the qualifications that banks look for generally increase. They want 720 credit scores. They want more financial security with the borrower because they, when I say they, banks have taken significant losses. So then next up would be nonprofits and then the state of California. So what I'm about to read to you right now is absolutely insane. Please hit the like button as well. It's a great way to support the channel. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. We talk about all things personal finance, business, and money. So California's ban on evictions would last through 2021 under new extension proposal. California tenants struggle to pay rent due to COVID-19 would have until the end of 2020 to avoid eviction under a moratorium extension a Democratic lawmaker plans to introduce Monday. At the end of August, Gavin Newsom signed Assembly Bill 3088 into law, which requires a tenant pay at least 25% of their rent. 25%. So if your rent's $2,000, you're paying $500. That does almost nothing for a landlord. Of the rent from September 1 to January 31st, 2021 to avoid eviction. Now, let's not forget, all this happening right now, these lockdowns, everything that's happening, is only due to the governors and politicians and their response to what's happening. This is not due to any outside third party or issue or sickness. This is simply their response to it. Tenants were obligated to immediately backfill payments missed from the start of the emergency in March through the summer as long as they proved economic hardship, but landlords are entitled to eventually recoup all rent lost. This is not going to happen. In 99% of the circumstances, it's not going to happen. If your tenant owes you 10 grand or 15 grand or 20 grand in back rent, and they now have an opportunity not to pay, many of them are just going to take advantage of that and save all that money to eventually try to buy a property of their own when the market falls apart. And I think most of them will. And landlords are going to have a very hard time collecting because the cost to go to court is very high, and there's going to be so many delays because there's going to be tens and tens of thousands of landlords in court. This might get pushed out 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before they get in front of a judge. So that whole time is basically lost for the landlord. So they need to essentially have that cash where they can float the mortgage or mortgages, depending on how many properties that they have issues with. Law's protections are scheduled to expire February 1st, and landlords can start collecting missed rent civil court by March. Okay, but as COVID-19 continues spreading through every corner of the country with most Californians under new regional stay-at-home orders, these new orders in California also are just absolutely insane. They're way worse than the first. I mean, no restaurant is open for indoor or outdoor dining. You're not allowed to walk in the street, according to Eric Garcetti, unless it's very, very necessary. You're not allowed to take public transit. There's curfews. Said another law is needed to prevent a wave of evictions. People are still struggling, still unemployed. We are staring down an eviction cliff if action is not taken. Okay, I love how the action is for them to delegate all responsibility due to their poor judgment onto people that have ambition, that want to own property, that want to get ahead. So that is their form of action, is basically restructuring capitalism to where it best benefits them. The new proposal extends the moratorium through December 31st of next year. Tenants would have to still pay 25% of the total rent by that deadline, but landlords cannot begin evictions until 2022 without just cause unrelated to the pandemic-related financial duress. The legislation would also impose additional regulations on landlords, like increasing penalties for illegal lockouts or imposing late fees and interest on struggling tenants. I love how they always, when I say they, like California, they form an opinion on landlords as if they are the worst people in the world. Landlords would also could not retaliate against or harass renters, add certain languages to a pay or quit notice to force payments. Given the state of emergency in California, Choi said he would introduce the bill urgency legislation, meaning it will need 2/3 majority approval in the legislature to take effect before 2022. Choi's plan is sure to excite tenants, rights activists disappointed this year with AB 3088's limitations. The ongoing economic emergency has only added to the frustration that more help is immediately needed. While the state's unemployment rate fell, these numbers, by the way, are a complete lie. You should read the book, How to Lie with Statistics. The state's unemployment rate fell from 11.1% in September to 9.3% in October. Millions of Californians at one point in the pandemic have faced evictions. All of us deserve to have shelter from the storm, a permanent home and food and medicine to keep us healthy. All of us, with the exception of property owners, because many of them are probably going to lose their properties, lose their home, their family home, and 20 or 30 years worth of work. I'm being serious. I feel really bad. A lot of Mexicans moved to California 20, 30 years ago and worked their tail off to own a property or two properties. And now, essentially, California tipped the playing field in a way to where they can basically just seize their assets with some of these restrictions, with how they're now playing God. That's essentially what they're doing right now. Now more than ever, our collective well-being depends on it. The Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment has recently included in emails to legislators at Newsom, and yet at a time when housing security is recognized as paramount, we face a massive eviction and foreclosure crisis beyond anything we have seen before, unless government steps in to stabilize the housing market and thus the economy. The only way that they can do that is getting out of the way. Mass evictions may also accelerate the spread of COVID-19. A November 30 study by researchers. I love whenever they say a study, it's basically a study from their peers, and they basically tell them what to come up with. Researchers from UCLA, Johns Hopkins, and other top universities says because they lead to household crowding and reduce individuals' ability to compel with social distancing incentives. Opposition from landlords and realtors is likely, well, obviously. Throughout 2020 session, negotiations over the current eviction moratorium remains contentious. During the process, the California Apartment Association said a plan had to prioritize financially burdened property owners. California Association actually sued Gavin Newsom and the state of California and lost about a month and a half ago. And what happened there was they said that they're impacting tens of thousands of landlords with these draconian laws that they're putting into place. And they said, well, if we didn't put it in, hundreds of thousands of tenants would suffer. So instead, we're just going to stick it to the landlord, essentially. Our goal has been to provide both help for tenants who are truly affected by COVID-19, the association included in August statement, as well as compensation for landlords at risk of foreclosure after several months without payments. Choi said he also plans to unveil legislation that would address the issue by providing long-term economic relief for both tenants and their landlords. Okay, good luck with that. The last attempt was, I think, like $50 million or $80 million is what they offered landlords across the entire state. That will get a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of 1% of landlords, I would imagine. The idea is still being considered. An intent measure, meaning details, will be drafted later, but the legislation is currently written to include a framework for distributing financial support to ensure long-term stability for renters, small landlords, and affordable housing providers. Absolutely crazy. This is nuts because what this says to me, it says that we are not going back to normal in 2021. That's what this says to me. Because if they're going to push this out for another year, there's no longer a 15-day to stop the spread. They're pushing this out another year and they're talking about this now. So if they're going to do this now, and where we're going to be in June, July, August of 2021, are we going to be having the same conversation again? And this is going to, I think, set up a incredible buying opportunity in California. The question really becomes is, are the politicians and the laws that they make later due to this pandemic, because they are going to be making new laws, they're going to be trying to push new things through to change housing in California, because this is where we're going. We're going to permanent change. And are those laws going to be tolerable? Can landlords actually operate a successful business and profit enough to where it's worth it for them to stay? Because if not, if they slowly start funneling all of these new laws and regulations into California, and then you have these eviction moratoriums, you have foreclosures, people losing their businesses, which is happening everywhere. Because how can you run a business when you have an expensive retail location and rent's due and you can't pay that, and then you have perishable goods and you have utilities, you have all these expenses and you can't afford it. And then on top of that, you have a house or a rental property, and then your tenant's not paying rent. All these things are going to get washed out eventually. And it's going to, I think, change California forever. So stay tuned. I'm going to keep you guys posted on what I learn with this upcoming eviction moratorium, because they're going to push this through, or they're going to try. I would imagine that this goes through. If I was a betting man, I would say that this is likely going to go through, just because it's California and the deck is stacked against the landlord. And if that's the case, then I think now's the time to cut back on those luxuries and stack as much cash as possible for that rainy day, because the rainy day is coming, and Florida, I think, is going to get a lot of attention moving forward. Florida, Nevada, Texas, there's so many states, so many hot spots right now that are handling this situation much better than California. And California is filled with capital, with investors, with attention. This attention is going to leave, I would imagine, very, very soon. So drop your comments below. What do you think is going to happen here? Do you think that this is going to get pushed through? Where do you see California real estate going? I'm really curious as to what you guys think. Drop your comments below, and I'll see you guys next video.